It was the penultimate lap in Barcelona, and then, boom! A clash that no one saw coming. George Russell shouts over the radio, "I just got crashed into." The Red Bull of Max Verstappen and the Mercedes of George Russell collide, reshaping the final standings of the 2025 Spanish Grand Prix and throwing a wrench into the championship race. But what really happened? Was it deliberate? Was it a miscommunication? Or was it just pure, ruthless racing? Stay tuned as we take you lap by lap, quote by quote, and penalty point by penalty point through one of the most talked about moments in recent Formula One history. Let's rewind the tape. The 2025 Spanish Grand Prix had already delivered its fair share of thrills. McLaren dominated qualifying. Oscar Piastri sat on pole with Lando Norris right beside him. Verstappen, ever the predator, lined up P3. George Russell and Charles Leclerc completed the top 5. Everything looked set for a high-paced, clean, strategic race, until Kimi Antonelli's retirement threw the rulebook out the window. On lap 55, Antonelli's mechanical issue brought out the safety car, and chaos followed. McLaren, Ferrari, and Mercedes all pitted for soft tires, ready to attack in the final sprint. But Verstappen, he only had hard tires left. With no other option, Red Bull bolted on the white-walled compounds. The risk was clear: cold hards against fresh softs. But Max loves a challenge, doesn't he? What happens next would be studied, dissected, and debated across paddocks and podcasts alike. As the safety car came in, the front runners stacked up. Piastri nailed the restart. Norris and Leclerc followed. But Verstappen, struggling with cold tires, got a massive snap out of the final corner. He bumped wheels with Leclerc and fell back to P4. George Russell, now right behind, smelt an opportunity. This was it. A chance to gain major points on the reigning champion. Russell lined up for an overtake. Verstappen ran wide at turn 1, left the track, and rejoined ahead of Russell. That's a breach of Article 27.3, gaining a lasting advantage off track. His race engineer quickly jumped in. Let George through. Max lifted off, inviting Russell around the outside into turn 5. Then, Max accelerated and clipped the right side pod of the Mercedes. Both cars wobbled, but Russell managed to control the slide. Verstappen, not so lucky. "I just got crashed into. I don't know what he was doing." Russell, fiery and stunned, aired his frustration. And rightly so. He was on the racing line, following FIA procedure, assuming Max was letting him by. Verstappen, however, had a different version. "I backed off, I gave him space. What else do they want me to do?" And yet the evidence was damning. Onboard footage showed Max easing off briefly, then darting forward right before Russell cleared his front wing. Stewards reviewed the footage swiftly, and the punishment was immediate. A 10-second time penalty, the 3 penalty points. And those 3 points? They bring Max's total to 11. That's one short of the dreaded 12. A race ban. Post-race interviews made it clear no love was lost between these two drivers. "That's how Max goes racing. It cost him more than me, so I'm not going to lose sleep over it." Russell, now P4 in the final classification, walked away relatively unharmed, both physically and in terms of points. But Verstappen wasn't so lucky. He was demoted from P5 to P10, 5 points down the drain. "I had a big moment in that last corner. Those hard tires had no grip. We just ran out of tires." In hindsight, maybe staying out would have been better. But hindsight's always easy. A diplomatic Max, but one with fire simmering under the surface. Welcome to Fuel Up Daily, your daily dose of F1 action, analysis, and adrenaline. From race recaps and team drama to driver deep dives and tech breakdowns, we cover everything happening on and off the track. Whether you're a diehard fan or new to the paddock, there's something here for you. Hit subscribe, join the grid, and never miss a lap. Let's fuel your passion for Formula One daily. Now let's talk numbers. After this race, Max Verstappen sits on 11 penalty points. And according to FIA rules, 12 points over a rolling 12-month period earns you a race ban. Let that sink in. One more slip-up, and Max will be watching from the garage. No appeal, no leniency. The problem? None of his current points expire before the next 2 races, Canada and Austria. That means Verstappen will enter 2 high-speed, high-risk circuits, knowing that any incident could sideline him. And with McLaren now clearly ahead on pace, Red Bull can't afford to lose their lead driver. So, will Christian Horner intervene? Could Red Bull bench Max to protect the title campaign? Red Bull's call to give Max the hard tires made strategic sense, on paper. But when the race turned chaotic, they had no flexibility left. Would they make the same choice again? According to Verstappen, yes. I liked it. It was racy. But in reality, that call backfired. Not only did they lose track position, they lost control. The real question is, did Max feel too much pressure to compensate? Was this a case of fighting for pride rather than points? This race may be over, but the effects are just beginning. Verstappen is on the edge. Russell has momentum. McLaren are soaring. And the title race? It's wide open. Will Max manage to cool his temperament and play the long game? Will Russell capitalize on this newfound momentum? And is McLaren about to pull off one of the most remarkable mid-season turnarounds in modern F1? This isn't just a flashpoint. This could be a season-defining moment. In an era where every tenth of a second matters, a single misjudgment can change not just a race, but an entire championship storyline. And beyond the drivers, what does this say about the teams? About Red Bull's ability to adapt, or Mercedes' hunger to fight back? Has this incident exposed a vulnerability in Verstappen that rivals can now exploit? The F1 world will be watching closely. As the paddock packs up and heads to Montreal, anticipation brews. Will Max play it safe in Canada, or will we see him go full throttle again, despite the risk? We'll be covering every twist, every team radio, and every millisecond of controversy right here on Fuel Up Daily. What do you think? Was Verstappen too aggressive, or was Russell too trusting? Are the stewards being too lenient? Or is this just racing at its rawest? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below, because we want to hear from the real fans. And if you're as passionate about Formula One as we are, join the conversation. And hey, if you love in-depth breakdowns like this one, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap that notification bell. It helps us bring you more of the coverage you crave, straight from the paddock to your playlist. This is Fuel Up Daily, and we'll see you on the next lap. Until then, stay fast, stay focused, and stay fueled up.